Okay. This is the Daily Mail. All right, check this out. Historic breakthrough in nuclear fusion. Scientists achieve holy grail by replicating the power of the sun, potentially spelling the end of fossil fuels. Now, though I highly doubt that because fossil fuels is used to make almost everything nowadays, but that's all right. The U.S. Department of Energy has announced an accomplishment in nuclear fusion that will go down in history, making a decades long quest to harness the same energy that powers the sun and stars. Scientists achieved the holy grail of net energy gain by producing more energy in fusion than was used to activate it. They made the breakthrough on December 5th at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories National that's a lot of nationals. At National Ignition Facility in California, which houses a sports stadium sized lab equipped with 192 lasers. The experiment saw the high energy lasers converge on a target about the size of a peppercorn, heating a capsule of hydrogen to more than 180 million degrees Fahrenheit and briefly simulating the conditions of the sun, said the facility's director, Dr. Kim Boudil. This is a great representation of it. It says how the mind boggling technology works. Number one, a low energy laser pulse is split into 192 separate beams and amplified a million billion times. A million billion times. That's wonderful. As it travels almost a mile to reach the spherical target chamber housing the HOHL the Holram, Holram, I don't know how to pronounce that actually, in 5 microseconds. And then, okay, then the laser beams are fired into the gold hologram at a small fuel capsule containing deuterium, and tritium. The gold vaporizes, causing massive increase in heat, and the inward traveling shock waves squeeze the capsule, causing causing it to undergo a nuclear reaction called fusion. The thermonuclear heat travels outward, consuming the rest of the capsule, so almost all of the fuel is used up. Okay, so this is they actually have the hologram here. Interesting. Okay. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm called the breakthrough a landmark achievement. Granholm said scientists at Livermore and other national labs are working on research to help the U.S. solve humanity's most complex and pressing problems, like providing clean energy to combat climate change and maintaining a nuclear deterrent without nuclear testing. This is definitely the answer if this is happening. Nuclear fusion is a process in which two light atomic nuclei combine to form a single heavier one, while releasing massive amounts of energy. In the case of Earth's sun and the stars in space, nuclei need to collide with each other at extremely high temperatures, more than 10 million degrees Fahrenheit. The high temperature gives the nuclei enough energy to overcome their mutual electrical repulsion. Once the nuclei come within a very close range of each other, the attractive nuclear force between them will outweigh the electrical repulse and allow them to fuse. For this to happen, the nuclei must be confined within a small space to increase the chances of collision. The extreme pressure produced by its immense gravity creates the condition for fusion in the sun. Unlike fission, fusion carries less risk of accidents or the theft of atomic material. Nuclear fission occurs when a neutron slams into a larger atom, forcing it to excite and split into smaller atoms. This is what happens in a nuclear power plant. But nuclear fusion has been sought after achievement for nearly 70 years. The team pulled inspiration from researchers from in the 1960s that theorized lasers could induce fusion in a laboratory. And this kickstarted the decades-long work to develop those lasers and optic diagnostics, target fabrication, computer modeling, and simulation and experimental design. The lasers used in the experiment can create temperatures and pressures similar to those in the core of stars and giant planets, and inside exploding nuclear weapons. The team used 2.1 megajoules of energy to create the reaction conditions, replicating the power of the sun. This resulted in an output of 3.15 megajoules, a gain of around 150%. That's a lot. Ignition allows us to replicate for the first time certain conditions that are only found in stars and sun. This was Granholm said on Tuesday. This milestone moves us in one significant step closer to the possibility of zero carbon, abundant fusion energy powering our society. She opened the live briefing with a statement that this is what it looks like for America to lead. Well, that certainly feels good, doesn't it? While Tuesday's announcement is a step towards clean energy, the scientists are not blind to the work still ahead. Budil said there are still significant hurdles to overcome before the technology can become available commercially. I mean, yeah, uh, that makes sense, but I'm excited about it. I think it's moving into the foreground, and probably with concerted effort and investment, a few decades of research on the underlying technologies could put us in a position to build a power plant, she added. Net energy gain has been the holy grail for scientists, as fusion happens at such high temperatures and pressures that it are incredibly difficult to control. Billions of dollars and decades of work have gone into fusion research that has produced exhilarating results for fractions of a second. Ricardo Betti, a professor at the University of Rochester, an expert in laser fusion, said the fact that net energy had been gained in a fusion reaction is significant. I agree. Is this him right here? This is Dr. Marvin Adams held up a capsule that was heated. Oh, so this is the capsule that was heated up to 180 million degrees. Very cool. But he said there is a long road ahead before the result generates sustainable electricity. He likened the breakthrough to when humans first learned that refining oil into gasoline and igniting it could produce an explosion. You still don't have the engine. You still don't have the tires. You can't say that you have a car. Interesting. Well, I'm going to keep reading, and then I'm going to say my thoughts on this whole thing. White House advisor Areti Prabhakar appeared with Granholm, called the fusion ignition a tremendous example of what perseverance really can achieve and an engineering marvel beyond belief. Proponents of fusion hope that it could one day produce near limitless carbon-free energy, displacing fossil fuels and other traditional energy sources. Okay, I have to pause right there because the first thing that I think of, and this is the reason why Tesla was shut down. Now, I mean Nikola Tesla, not the company Tesla that we know nowadays. Uh, J.P. Morgan asked, "How can we sell this energy that you're emitting into the air that can charge and you can harness from out of the air?" And he said, "You can't. It's just in the air. It's either free or it's not." And he's from what I gathered, he was able to pick up the energy from the telluric current, harness it via the aquifer underneath the Wardcliffe Tower, and send it into the atmosphere so that anyone in the area could have their devices charged if they were set to be able to receive, energy out of the air. How he was able to hold the light bulb and have it turn on. How are they going to sell this? Right? If it produces nearly limitless carbon-free energy, how are they going to sell it? How is it going to be monetarily uh, worth it for the people that are able to actually build this stuff? Because this isn't going to be cheap. I'm sure it's going to be incredibly expensive to bring it from where it is now in the lab to having it be mainstream nuclear fusion reactors, I should say, all over the planet so that it's producing free energy for everyone. I don't think they want that. The people that are selling oil are switching to buying lithium mines in Greenland because there's I mean, there's trillion-dollar contracts to mine Greenland because of the amount of lithium that they found there. They're finding these ways to switch from selling you oil to selling you the, precious metals that are needed to switch to green energy, which, I say it with quotes because, green energy is not green. Windmills need oil to work. They literally need fossil fuels to function. So, you know what I mean? It's not. And then when, of course, they're built to last forever, and they don't last forever. So when they break, there's like graveyards of these fan blades from windmills with hundreds of, probably thousands of them now, which they're going to build up to be hundreds of thousands probably, and they're not going to degrade. They're made with this like aircraft grade, what's it called? Um, Not carbon fiber. Maybe it's carbon fiber, but it's designed so it doesn't break down, which of course everything does, but it's going to take a long time. So that's my worry about this. Okay, it sounds awesome. I'm very excited about it. I'm just worried that the people that control it, the ones that are going to be able to build the stuff, they're going to be like, it's not worth it for us. Okay. So let's get back to it. Producing energy that powers homes and businesses from fusion is still decades away, but researchers said it was a significant step nonetheless. I agree with that. Michael Mann with the Department of Earth and Environmental Science at the University of Pennsylvania took to Twitter to share his skepticism on the announcement. He shared that the fusion breakthrough is not enough to eliminate the need for fossil fuels just yet. Well, I mean, especially when you realize what is made with fossil fuels, medicines, practically every, plastic is fossil fuel, right? It's made from oil. The holy grail of clean energy. Certainly a cool looking plasma swirl, I guess. The fusion power station generated 1.21 gigawatts, no, 1,500 megawatts of electricity, would use 1 kilogram of fuel a day. This compares with 10,000 tons of fuels in a coal power station of similar size. That would be to produce the 1,500 megawatts. Wow. The temperature differences inside of the tokamak are the largest in the solar system. The coils would be cooled with liquid nitrogen to negative 196 degrees, while 40 centimeters away will be plasma that is 6 times hotter than the center of the sun. What could go wrong? I mean, what could go wrong? This is let's see what this is. This is the reactor right here. This is the capsule that he was holding in his hand. It says this is the capsule used in the experiment. The team used laser capable of creating the inside of a nuclear weapon. What could go wrong? It's going to keep saying what could go wrong. That doesn't mean it isn't good news, but it does mean that it won't play a significant role in decarbonizing our economy by 50% this decade. Oh, is that like what they're doing in the Netherlands by getting rid of like 90% of the farmers and telling them they can't farm their land anymore? That ESG score, that ESG bullshit. Sorry, I'm a little sour on some of these topics. We can do that with existing renewables and storage slash efficiency slash conservation. Now, I just talked about renewables. It's a bunch of bullshit. The ultimate goal, still years away, is to generate power the way the sun creates heat, by pushing hydrogen atoms so close together that they combine into helium, which releases torrents of energy. A single cupful of that substance could power an average-sized house for hundreds of years without carbon emissions. It sounds amazing. That is why fusion is considered the holy grail of energy in a world with an ever-increasing demand for electricity and deteriorating environment. It merges atomic nuclei to create massive amounts of energy, the opposite of the fission process used in atomic weapons and nuclear power plants, which splits them into fragments. I'm pretty sure we Okay, that's it. Yeah. So, I mean, all in all, I'm hopeful about this kind of technology. It seems like it's good to know that there are people out there that are really trying to push us in a direction of something better, right? Um, I I am worried that the amount of fiscally fiscal potential for the people that are able to build this stuff, they're not going to want to build it. I mean, it will really prove in the coming years when they actually make this viable to have in a power plant type of environment for society. These elites that claim that they care about the environment, that they follow the ESG score, if they're going to put the money where the mouth is, where their mouth is, and actually help build these things. Because I don't think the governments really care. Certain governments do. I don't think the American government gives two shits about America, and they keep that $1.7 trillion, and who the hell knows what's in that omnibus bill. Now I know I said I wasn't going to talk politics, but it's kind of it's fitting to talk about. France has got a bunch of nuclear power plants. Do you guys know that? Germany's probably like, man, I wish we built some of those power plants. I think Sweden's got nuclear power plants as well. I don't know how many they have. I haven't actually looked into it. So, but it's good to know that we've got something on the horizon, right?